Hello everybody and welcome back to the Border Corner. It's been a little while since I did a video. I think it's about 3 weeks. There's not really a huge amount going on in the Birdroom at this time of year, so I didn't think there's any point in sticking the video up just for the sake of it. So you haven't had too much from me really this year yet. Things are starting to move now though. The conditioning programme started in January with broccoli once a week, conditioned seed once a week, and then hemp for the cocks, Niger for hens once a week. So that was what they had in January. Now we're into February. That's increased to twice a week for all of those, and it makes a difference. Usually the volume in here is quite a lot louder than it is at the moment. They've just all had baths on, as you can see here. They all love their baths. I think it's the same with all breeders will have the same experience. Doesn't matter what the temperature is, does it? It can be freezing outside. You put baths on, the birds are still going. So they've all had their bath. You can see a couple of these looking a bit bedraggled, but I love it. I love watching them have their bath because they really seem to be enjoying themselves. So today I'll show you. I've started to split the birds up with the cocks. My main cock birds have all been split up now. I've also, you'll see when we have a look at the hens, I've started with some familiarisation with them with the nest pans as well. So we'll come on to that. I've got a couple of extras that I'm going to try this year. One of which is I was given a nest box camera kit for my birthday a year or so ago, and we got this up on the bungalow, and we've got a blue tip that's going in and out of that nest box, using it for roosting. So I'm hopeful that it might decide to actually nest in there. So if it does, we might include some of the footage of that. So we'll show the blue tip making its nest and the chicks, and so we can see that on a regular basis. So let me know if that's the sort of thing you're interested in. If it's not of any interest, then I won't bother. So that was one thing I'm going to add in. Another thing is I've got some new birds. So hang around till the end of the video to see what they are, and I'll show you those. So so that's what we got in today's video. So let's crack on. Cockbird number one. This is a 2023 bred buff cockbird, one of the ones that I bought, and you've seen this one already. So he's the first cockbird, and then next to him I have a yellow variegated cockbird. Well, these two are both from the same stud, so they've come in this year. Apologies for the wobbly camera. I'm trying to do this bit freehand, so I'm going to be a bit wobbly. Doesn't help me kicking the tripod. This is the 3-pass dark cockbird that I bred last year. He's just had a bath. He's in a bit of a mess. So he's the third one. Fourth up is a clear yellow cockbird. I showed you him last week, and it was the newcomer. He's number 4. And then in the corner aviary down here, in the corner cage down here, if you can see him, let's just see if we can zoom in a little bit on him. That's as far as it'll go. He's trying to hide. Sorry, very wobbly camera. I do apologise for that. And this is cockbird number 5. No, we're getting out of focus. Sorry, I've not done a very good job with that, have I? So they're the main birds for me for this year. I'm hoping that I'll be able to pair these up. Well, I say pair them up. I'm hoping that I'll be able to put these birds with at least a couple of hens each. So that's what my plan is anyway. If I can get them to cover 2 birds each, then that's going to give me 10 hens. So I'll be able to pick my best hens to go with them. But I've also, as you can hear, actually singing at the moment, this is kind of my first reserve, for want of a better description. he actually did quite well for me last year. He was one of those that I kind of parachuted in late on. So that's not a very good shot. I'll get a better shot of him. There we go. Now he's turned around. So yeah, so that was the first reserve, as it were. He's on a purple wing, so hopefully he should breed this year if I need him to. So I'm sure that I will. And then over here in the other part of the bird room, I have. This is very wobbly. I'm sorry about this today, everyone. I'm not feeling too good today, so my camera work's not great. We've got in one of the wire cages. This is one of last year's birds, and next to him I have a variegated. Now I'm not actually convinced at the moment that this is a cockbird, because as you can see from the bottom of the cage, it's been destroyed, and this bird is continually ripping paper. I'm picking up lots of paper on the floor, so I think she might actually be a hen. So we'll have to see. So that's the cockbirds for this year. The one thing that you may have noticed, certainly on that one on the bottom there, that first reserve that I showed you, this is a good angle actually, you can see that I've given him a trim. So you'll see that his tail is shorter, where I've trimmed his tail off a little bit. Let's just back off. He's had his claws cut, all the claws have been trimmed and vents trimmed. I've done that on all of the cockbirds. It shows that his tail, you can see it quite clearly on there, can't you, that it's been trimmed. And then if you look at this 3 parts dark cockbird, let's see if I can get him on, you can see where his tail's been trimmed as well. So this is quite an important thing to do with boarders. So anybody just starting off with boarders, this is something that's quite important to do. They're heavily feathered birds, the boarders, and they're very much like Norwiches in that regard. And they carry a lot of feather and like downy feather as well around the vent area. So it makes mating tricky. Successful mating is tricky. So it's a good idea to get your birds trimmed. It always knocks them back as well once they've been trimmed. So don't worry if you do trim them and your birds seem to be off colour for a few days. It's to be expected. So yes, and I also take the opportunity of checking their claws as well. I don't like doing their claws because I invariably end up nipping the vein in at least one of the birds, and it's something I'm sure it must be quite uncomfortable for them, and I hate doing it, but it's necessity. Obviously with the cocks, you don't want them scratching the hens' backs, and with the hens as well. The hens also, they get their vents trimmed, their claws cut and their tails trimmed. Just to help with when it comes to treading. So yeah, so that's my cockbirds. And if I take a run here, you'll see that I've got those cockbirds are actually in the top cages of my run all the way along the back of the bird room. Now this cage, you'll notice here, it looks like a single. This is the one where I showed you that other cockbird that was hiding, and you can see it goes back. It's part of the L shape of the aviary where I have the aviary here. And then I've got this bank of cages here. They all back onto the aviary. So the hens have the aviary and these flight cages to use. And what I do is I put water in the top of the flight cages, and food is in the bottom, so it makes the birds fly up and down. But going back to the cockbird, in this cage here, you can see that I've got a perch set back in that cage, and I've got LED lighting on there. I wasn't sure about the LED lighting, but I felt if I wanted to use this cage for a cockbird and for breeding hens lower down, I didn't feel the lighting was as good as it should be. So if you look here, this is with the lighting on. This is with the light off. So you can see it makes quite a considerable difference to that cage. And I think that before I had that light on in there, that LED on in there, the bird didn't want to use that back perch. It was only using one half of the cage. So by putting the LEDs on, it's now using that as a normal breeding cage. There we go, light back on, and you can see the difference. Okay, so if we have a quick look at the hens now, this bank of cages is with my hens that I bred last year. So as you can see, I've got to put that seed pot down. That's where I had the bath on, so let's get that back down. There's 6 hens in this cage. It's 8 foot long. So there are 6 feed pots and multiple water pots as well, to make sure that they've all got plenty of access to clean water and clean food without having to fight each other. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, see if that makes it look any better. So I've got the shakes a bit today, everyone. Apologies for that. There we go. So now what you'll see on here, on this bank of cages, I've got the nest pans hung on the outside of the cages. This is so that, I don't know if you can see there, we've got a hen there that's got a big piece of paper in her beak. So there's a lot of this. These birds were only cleaned out on Wednesday and they've already destroyed the bedding. I put paper down and then I put gypsy over the top of that, and they pretty much destroyed all of the paper that was down already. So we can get a closer look at her with picking up that bit of paper. No, she's put it down there. It's always the way. What is it they say? Don't work with children and animals. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, so I've put the nest pans on this bank of cages. I've put 3 nest pans on the outside of the cage, just so that they can get familiar with them, so that they're not a shock to them. So these have been on for about a week. So at the weekend they'll be moved, and I'll put them inside. Again, not with any nesting material or anything like that, but just put the nest pans inside the cages so it doesn't spook the birds when you're wanting to use them. So it's all about that familiarisation. Even though the over-year hens will be more than comfortable with nesting and the nest pans and what they look like, I've put one on the front of the over-year hens cage as well, for the same reason. I don't think it hurts for a little while, just have those on the front just so they can see. So yeah, so that's the hens in the bank of cages, and as I say, I've obviously got hens in the aviary as well. I'm not going to film them today because they're too tricky to get hold of because they're all over the place. So, but yeah, so there we go. That's a quick look at the hens that I've got. Now there's 6 in here. I've got 2. If I spin right round in this corner, let's just get a closer look. I've got 2 over-year hens in here as well. So we've got, we have, I'm not doing very well with this today. I'm sorry, everyone. Let's try that again. I think that's a little better, is it? We've got a yellow hen and a self hen. These are both on violet rings. So they'll probably be used in the breeding program at some point. They're a little bit behind the other birds. They've not come in to condition as quickly. I can't get them in focus. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening here. They've not come into condition quite as quickly as the other birds have. So I've just got them out at the moment in a dove breeder on their own. So but they're doing okay. So they probably will come in as well at some point. So I just looked at my notes for what I wanted to include in today's episode, and I just want to go back to what I mentioned about trimming. I've got some, last year I used some really big scissors, and I got quite a few comments from people wondering why I was using such long scissors to do the birds trimming. So I've changed that now, and I've got some of these little scissors, and these are ideal. You can get really close to the birds without worrying about damaging them. I'm terrified I'm going to cut a leg off or something horrible like that. So, but these little scissors, nice and sharp, and they do the job really well. So, I'm just going to stop talking at this bit, and I'm going to drop in a little bit on the video that I did last year when we did trimming, so you can have a closer look at how you go about it. So here's that now. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to give it a trim using these smaller scissors that I've got now. So hopefully, sorry, it's out of focus. Hopefully we'll find these are a bit better. So here we go. I'm not sure if that's joined feathers or not now. See if we can get a slightly better view. No, I don't think so. They can come off. There we go, we can see the dried feathers coming through. I'm going to keep going. Somebody else, Alan, actually said, thanks Alan, maybe take a little more feather away. So I'm trying that now as well, and I'm taking a little bit more off. So still following the very slow, steady approach. Now we can see the guide feathers now. A little more off this side, I think. So we can see that she's a long way from being in breeding condition. No swelling around here, this area at all. So I'm definitely taking more feather away this time than last time. I think I'll leave it at that. Maybe just a little more here, just take some of that away. Now the guide feathers don't appear to be very long on this hen, so maybe that's because of her age. I don't know whether on a flighted bird the guide feathers would be a little longer. She's the first unflighted bird that I've trimmed, so I'll know better next time when I do the flighted bird. So there we go. And I have to say that is so much easier with these little scissors. So thank you for those folks who suggested it, and thanks Alan for recommending that I get some manicure scissors. There we go. So that little hen is done. So I hope that helps anybody that's doing it for the first time. Might give you a bit of an indication. Also, on Matt Eld Does the Canary Room, I'm sure all of you already follow us on Matt Eld's channel. And Matt's got a good piece in there where he's got Keith Ferry, and Keith Ferry's helping. Keith Ferry is showing how he trims his borders, his Norwiches. And it's actually Keith's video that I watched to get comfortable with it before I went and did mine. So thanks to Matt Eld and to Keith Ferry for doing that last year. It's definitely helped me. So go and have a look at that. I do the birds at this time of year. It's really, when you trim the birds, it does knock them back. So try and do them when you move them into their sort of final quarters, as it were. So I did all the cocks yesterday morning. I've done the hens yesterday morning as well, even though they're not going into their final cages yet. I've got a few birds to do, so I thought I'd do those all in one go as well. So all the cocks in the room have been done now, and the only birds left to do are the hens in the aviary. So I'll get on with those. It will knock them back, as I say. So if you do it before you're sort of thinking you want to get going with the birds and start pairing up, you don't want them to be knocked back after they've been trimmed. So get them done nice and early. And then by the time they come through the stress of being trimmed, they'll be ready for breeding. So I mentioned about the LED lights. It wasn't something that I was originally going to do in the bird room, but it's quite noticeable. That cage run in the corner that I showed you, and also with the wire cages. I don't know if you noticed on that bottom run of wire cages where I was just showing you those other two birds. I've run a LED strip along there as well, and it makes a big difference to the light in those cages. So I think that any birds that go in there, that'll probably make a difference for them in breeding as well. So it wasn't something that I really wanted to do, but I just put the devices on timing so they come on at the same time as the main tube. So hopefully we'll see. When I start putting hens in that end corner, we'll soon see if it works or not, as to whether they breed. So we'll have to see. Lights. I started with my lights in December, 1st of December, and I counted back to the end of February and worked out I wanted to be on 14 hours at the end of February. So effectively, I'm looking at saying go, as it were, on the 1st of March. That's my target. It's a bit early. I was intending this year to just let the birds go and follow what was happening outside and just match my lights to what was going on outside. But we're having a family holiday this year, which is the first time since I had my problems with my back. So it's an opportunity for us to go, all of us together. So I've got a friend that's moving in for the week and is going to look after my birds for me, so that if there are any birds that are still being weaned at that time of year, I'll have somebody living in the house that can sort them out for me. So that's why they're early. That's the 3 parts dark cock you can hear singing. He's got a pair of lungs on him. So that's why I've gone early this year. Hopefully the birds will all be bred and weaned by then. So when my friend comes in, all they'll be doing is looking after all the adults and the weaned chicks. Hopefully there won't be anything in the nest still by then, because I won't be setting any eggs after the end of June. So that's the plan anyway, unless I have a bad year, in which case I'll keep going for as long as I can. So the lights, as I say, started at the 1st of December, and I'm just moving them on half an hour a week. So they come on at 4 in the morning now, and as of today they'll be going off. I think it's 5:15. So by next week, I'll be just short of 14 hours, and then we'll be ready to start breeding for the new season. So we're getting to the end of today's video. I've looked back on a lot of the videos that I've done. I always say in them it's not a very long one this week, or I've cut down this week, and it still ends up running about 20 minutes, half an hour. So I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to say it this time. So I just wanted to finish off by asking you all a favour. I think as of this morning I've got 643 subscribers to the channel. And I've been doing some research on YouTube as to how you get your videos being prioritised and coming up higher up the search lists and so on. And YouTube have an algorithm that they use for that. And that algorithm uses the number of subscribers and it uses the number of likes that you get. So I've got 643 subscribers and I've had over 1,000 views of the video that I put out last time. Some of the other videos have had well over 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 views. So I've got significantly more viewers that are coming on and watching the videos that aren't subscribers or aren't liking the videos. So it doesn't cost anything to like or subscribe. If you could all do that for me, that would be brilliant. If I could add that to the things that I ask you to do. If you could like and subscribe to the videos. I'm at 643. I think we're approaching our first anniversary, so it's a long way to go to get to 1,000. But if we could get to 1,000, it'd be terrific. So if I could ask you all when you come onto the channel to give us a subscribe and give us a like, so it doesn't cost anything, and you'll be helping me massively. So thank you very much for that. Now, last thing on today's video, new birds. So here we are in the greenhouse. I say the greenhouse. It's Jane's greenhouse, my wife. Excuse me. It's her greenhouse. So I've commandeered a little space for a few weeks. I need to get the aviary sorted though, because Jane's going to want to start seeds soon. So I need to get these in their aviary home. So we'll just do a little bit of a close up on them in a sec. But they're fairly easy to look after. I've gone for some soft bills that are apparently quite easy for beginners to keep. There are other birds that are easier for beginners as well, I think. So British soft bill wise, these I believe are some of the best. So easy to keep and feed. They have some pinkies. I'll show you a close up on their food in a sec, but they have pinkies, which are frozen maggots. A little bit of grated cheese, and some universal soft bill food. I think this is Versilaga unipati, I think it's called. They also have access to some siskin mix as well, but they don't touch that very much. What I've done is I give them a pot of unipate, a pot of siskin mix, and then every day I give them the pinkies. I alternate actually between pinkies and mealworms. So I hope you don't think I'm teaching grandma to suck eggs or anything, but this is what pinkies look like. I've got them in this seed pot here, in this round bowl. God, you know, I don't know what's the matter with me today. It's in an egg food drawer is what I'm trying to say. So yes, there's some pinkies in there, a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of grated cheese, and I'm going to put in here also some of the unipati as well, and a little bit of the siskin seed. So that all goes in as a mix. They have the pinkies one day, and then they have a couple of mealworms the next day. I've been told to not overdo the mealworms because otherwise they won't eat anything else. And then if mealworms become tricky to get hold of for whatever reason, then you've got a problem with your birds taking pinkies to feed their young. So that's what they have. I'm not bothering them that much at the moment. I'm just letting them settle down. So I only come in here once a day to do their food. I come in again at lunchtime to swap the water over. And then again later on in the day, I swap the water again. So keeping the disturbance, excuse me, down to a minimum. In terms of availability of food, I know that it seems to be a little bit of a myth about soft bills are hard to keep and hard to feed and so on. So I'm hoping to do a little bit on my Border Corner channel to try and dismiss that myth a little bit. So I found it really easy to get the food. There are quite a number of suppliers in the UK that sell soft food for birds. If any soft food retailers want to give me a shout, I'm happy to give you a mention on the channel. So please get in touch if you want me to give you a mention. So finding it was quite easy. The pinkies you buy frozen, so it's a big pack. You buy those frozen. They're living in they're living in our family freezer at the moment. But I'm hoping to get my own little fridge freezer to go in the bird room, and then they'll go in there. Really easy to get mealworms. All you need to do is go on to the wildlife retailers. You can get them on there. There's a couple of places on the internet that just specialise in live food. And I got mine through one of the retailers. that I bought the siskin food from. So yeah, really easy to get hold of. We'll see how we get on. This is I've only had them for coming up for a fortnight. I'm really keen to get the aviary done so they can get out in the aviary. So that's your first look at my new additions, my bearded reedlings. So let's just get another view in the cage of them again now. Here we go. So there's their food gone in. I might speed this bit up because it's probably going to take a little while before they actually drop down. So I'm just going to step back in the greenhouse for a second, and you can see straight away that the cockbird is looking at the food dish. He's usually first one down every day. They start squeaking when they can see the pinkies. I think it is that drives them. No, actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see this because I think I've zoomed in. So you can hear them, and here comes the cockbird now, straight in. It's not brilliant video because of that white wire, but hopefully you can get a bit of an idea of them. Now, what I'll do now, I'll just open it out a little bit to the full cage. And then hopefully when they go in and take some food, you'll be able to see them eating it. Here we go, cockbird's in first again. Beautiful markings, that slate grey head, light grey head, and the big black teardrops. They're stunning looking birds, I think. I'm really pleased to have them in the Birdroom. I really hope that they breed this year. I'm pleased to say they're getting used to me because the first week they wouldn't eat. When I'd been in the Birdroom, they wouldn't go near the food. They would wait until I was well out of the way. So I'm pleased to say now that after a week or so, they're a little bit more used to me. So they are going down to the food and having it. So let's just give it another second or two and see if they drop down again. But as you can see, they're really clear to identify the difference between cock and hen. And they are an unrelated pair. The chap that I bought them from has given me an unrelated pair. So anything they breed is going to be great. Anyway, there we go. So that's my new additions to the border corner. It's a pair of bearded reedlings.